Police Minister Bheki Cele admits the latest crime statistics paint a bleak picture of the country. Cele and his senior team briefed Parliament's Police Portfolio Committee a short while ago.
Statistics for the 2018-19 period show more than 21,000 people were murdered. This figure is up by almost 700 cases from the previous year. Sexual offences have increased by more than 2,000, bringing the total to 52,420. This means that 58 people are murdered every day. Just as alarming, 140 sexual offences were recorded every day.
Statistics have proven that the number of murders reported decreased from 18,084 to 15,554 during the period 2009 to 2012. Again, members of the media, statistics have proven that the number of murders have drastically increased to over 4,123 in the past 6 years. This background is important to contextualize the debate of whether we are increasing, maintaining or decreasing in this trend, having to focus specifically on murders. Therefore, we all need to have full appreciation of task at hand given to this current leadership. The reversal of 6 years is a mammoth task, but it is doable.
The latest crime statistics in the aggravated robbery category show a decrease. These are crimes like robbery at non-residential premises, cash-in-transit banks and truck hijackings. Bank robberies were down a whopping 69.2%, while truck hijackings decreased by 1.7%. Minister of Police General Bheki Cele released these annual crime statistics for the financial year 2018-2019 in Cape Town today. Cele says intelligence played a big role in infiltrating would-be robberies in this category.
Now, this common robbery is made up of a number of crimes which include carjacking, robbery residential, robbery at non-residential, robbery of cash in transit, bank robbery and truck hijacking. And these 6 crimes, they have all decreased with the exception of robbery at residential premises.
Well, for more on this story, I'm joined by Lizette Lancaster. She's from the Institute for Security Studies. Thanks very much for joining us, ma'am. I see that commercial crimes registered a 14.4% increase. What do commercial crimes encompass, and why do you think there was such a big increase in this type of crime?
So commercial crimes constitute anything from cyber-related crimes right through to fraud and crimes mostly affecting businesses. So the fact that it's increased by more than 10,000 cases in one single year is quite concerning. It shows that businesses are quite are in crisis when it comes to fraud and internal cybercrime attacks and other types of crime that affect them. And this would put huge pressure on them, which are already, of course, a problem given the economy.
It's interesting to see that cash-in-transit robberies have come down by over 20% in the 2018-2019 year. Do you think the police are winning the war on this one?
I think it shows what the police is capable of doing once they have their task teams and a coordinated approach to try and curb a certain type of robbery. So I think it is really good news, and it shows what can be done if effort is put behind such a crime category.
What do you think specifically around the issue of bank robberies, which were down 70% effectively? What do you think is disincentivizing the criminal from trying their hand at bank robbery?
I think we have seen the banks making it almost impossible to penetrate these banks. It has, increased security and target hardening has made it not a lucrative option for criminals. These robbers often then move into cash in transit or other forms of robberies, such as business robberies, house robberies, and even street robberies, which is the majority of all the armed robberies that we have seen, namely 60% of the entire category.
So it's quite interesting also to see that drug-related crime was also down. Is that simply because cannabis has now been decriminalised?
Yes, that's always been a very interesting crime category, simply because that is not because there are more drugs on the streets, but more a result of police action. So that is the types of drugs that are seized during operations, search and patrols. So we are seeing that less drugs are being confiscated. So it's difficult at this stage to see if it's just because of the cannabis laws or whether it's also because of that there might be less operations in this regard.
Of course, our discussion is really focused more on business, but more broadly speaking, when it comes to crime in the country, I mean, we've got that terrible statistic showing that murder has gone up yet again by 3.4%. Do you think police are doing enough in terms of prevention of crime?
You know, it is clear that there are better strategies required. I think they have a huge task, and we need to have very, very specific anti-robbery strategies and murder strategies. Murder has gone up by 35% over the past 7 years, and that is very, very concerning. The fact is, too, that most of these murders happen between people that know one another, but there are many other types of categories, such as taxi violence, vigilantism, and robberies that drive murder rates as well, especially also domestic violence. So it shows that we need to invest in long-term strategies, such that affect our children, that safeguard them from violence in the homes, in the schools, and in our streets. And the police cannot do that alone.
Yeah, exactly, because they're not there in your house when you're having an argument and you lose it. All right, thank you very much, Lizette, for your time. We're going to leave it there. That's Lizette Lancaster. She's from the Institute of Security Studies. Nzinga?